To CPI Gitex TV, we are here to discuss one of the hottest topics in the industry today, network security. I'm pleased to welcome Florian Malecki, Enterprise Product Marketing Manager from SonicWALL, Mr. Reno Inferior, EVP of Marketing from Malecki, and Mr. Ahmed Saidan, GM of Netgear. Welcome to CPI Gitex TV. All right. The threat landscape seems to have evolved significantly over the last 18 months, and we keep hearing that there are organized crime syndicates which are behind these attacks, motivated by money, sometimes even motivated by politics. In this context, how can companies actually determine what's happening on the network and protect against these kind of breaches and exploits? I can start with you, Florian.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, we've seen that over the last, you mentioned 18 months, I think it's even more over the last couple of years. You know, all of these attacks are obviously financially driven. We're not talking about a bunch of students, but proper organized organization who are trying to steal either confidential data or financial data or whatever. So I think, you know, when you look at an organization, you know, they need to basically, when we come back to your question, they need basically to control every point of entry of the network, but as well every point of exit within the organization. And to be brief, if you look at today, you know, the Web 2.0 type of application, I mean, such as Facebook or YouTube, which can be either a leisurely type of application or even a business application, you need to be able to control who's got access, you need to control what bandwidth they are using, but as well at the same time, you need to make sure that, you know, these are not kind of weak point of entry for any attacks or any type of, you know, data leakage protection employees may be sending through their personal email account or through any Web 2.0 type of application, any confidential data.
Reno, would you like to add to that?
Yes, I fully agree with what my colleague was saying, but and security is something that you can't just approach step by step. So you can't just secure an application and then the rest of the network is not secured. So it's something that we see our customer that really ask for a full secure network. It means not only just, again, securing the application, securing with antivirus the PC and firewalls and whatever, but we see that most of the threats of security come from inside the enterprise. So securing the access to the network, securing every Ethernet port is important as well, and this is something that is coming up. But again, not just securing against attacks, but even against misconfigurations and error, mistakes. So you don't want your network go down because someone connects two cables and makes a loop into your network. So these are also things that comes into security, because it can be done by accident, but can be done deliberately. And again, it's very important, and we see such kind of requests. And now the technology is available, because, you know, from service provider that use Ethernet everywhere, they need to secure the network against the home mistakes. The same technology is available now for the enterprise, so why don't use it?
So actually, delivering the concept of security is actually what is the real obstacle is. I mean, doing the security protection is something that what all international companies are doing. But delivering the security awareness or importance for the company, is that what is lacked between the IT managers or the guy who looks after security and the top management or the owner of the company. Because the owner, the current owners or the current people who manage the companies, they understand security is about locking up the cars, having IP cameras, monitoring the telephonies. But they don't know reality that the real security is coming from the online transaction that they're doing, which the money is basically involved. So having these kind of pictures being delivered to the owner of the companies, is that what currently is missing beside the attacks that people is basically having from the online transactions?
Valid point. In the good old days, you could just put a firewall in front of your public access network and call it a day. These days, you don't even know where your perimeters are, right? You have too many devices coming to your corporate network, you have too many access technologies. It's very difficult to define the perimeter these days. So in this context, do you think the traditional security tools can actually defend against these kind of threats? Is firewall still relevant? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we see the network disappearing, and we speak about the depermitization of the network. I mean, somehow you still have some network, but it's true, as we were talking earlier on about, you know, Web 2.0 application like Salesforce.com or Onyx or even Skype and so on and so forth. You know, these are applications that are hosted by a third party, but they are somehow part of your network. And just to add on your point here, there's more multiple point of entry with the network, whether from the LAN, obviously from a remote location. So to add up on that point, you know, the technology is here today actually for quite some time. whether it's SSL VPN, to secure remote devices, whether it's a managed device or non-managed device, such as an iPad or an iPhone or whatsoever. And then when you look at the firewall technology, of course, because the usage of internet has evolved, the nature of the threats has evolved. The old good, stateful firewall looking, at the IP address and at the port is not good anymore, because the threats, as we were saying earlier on today, are now at the layer 7, at the application level. So that's why organization, they really need to look at their current, I would say, firewall infrastructure, and looking at maybe what we refer to as next generation firewall. Not only looking at the who are you, where you need to go, do I know you or not, but as well you need to look at the application, look at what group of users have the right to access those applications, and in the meantime, obviously protect any potential threats coming from these, I would say, new type of application.
Anything to add to that?
Security is not just a tool. Of course, every tool is important, and the best tool you have, it's more security. But you must know how to use the tool. So security is a basic culture, is basic understanding security. So again, it's something that has to do with the whole infrastructure, so the whole network and the whole procedure. And again, even just leaving a door open and leaving someone access some part of the network that you don't understand or that you don't believe will be accessible, or all the wireless. There are all points where someone can come in or someone can take out information. Another important factor that many companies are aware of and are sensible is tapping on the wires, because it's something that you can do with our electromagnetic fields. And companies and organizations, government, military organizations that are really focused on that, they pretend to have all their infrastructure in fiber, which is not perfect, but it's for sure more secure than copper. So a full fiber infrastructure can be another step. But again, it has to be not alone. So not only a firewall, not only a full fiber infrastructure, but is the culture, is the complete approach that makes sense on that.
Do you agree with that, Ahmad?
This is absolutely a very important part, because now the way people they are attacking the networks, it's not only to do with having a Trojan or having somebody who's accessing it. Now cables is one of the most important leakage that's happening currently. And that will take me to another important part when you said about firewall. Firewall will remain, but it will be walls. It will be more than walls. So it's no more than like when you have a whole highway street, you don't have only a checkpoint in the beginning. That's what happened in reality. But currently the checkpoints will be available also across the whole network. And people that are now currently using, even when we hear about green community, this is one of the things where the equipments, they dim, they don't work. And that's exactly the part where the firewall has to remain. So the firewall is the only concept, but it will have walls on the way. And that's what's exactly happening currently. The walls is being created. It's no more the gateway that protect the whole environment. It will be split across the groups of users. Leakage is big, definitely.
We seem to have moved beyond defense and depth. Now people are talking about layered defense, but adding layers add to the complexity as well, and it's a management nightmare. I was talking to a CIO the other day. He has got around more than 100 point products, security products in the organization. Yet he doesn't feel confident that he is secure. So what are vendors like you doing to come up with integrated solutions? Who would like to go first?
Being in the middle, I would say that what we do currently is first of all advise our customer and explain them what is the right approach to security, how to test their network, how to verify their internal procedure, and that's the first step. And then, of course, team up between vendors and who provides a firewall, who provides the access equipment, who provides the core, because it's something that has to be coordinated. And can look strange, but standardization is important, because someone thinks that if it's standard, everyone knows, so everyone can attack. No, it's not true, because if the procedure is strong, the fact that it's known, you can better protect. If something is not standard, you don't know what's inside, and there are the issues. So being standard, being interoperable, cooperating between vendors that have different proposition in the network can provide a whole security.
Security part usually is understood or it's been prepared very well with the higher enterprise corporate, because they have a full IT department, they have a specialist in the security demand. From our point of view as a Netgear, because we work on the small and medium business, we're not into the corporate level. This gives us another challenge. It's not to do with the quality of the product we have, it's just to do with the interface. Because most of the small and medium business companies, they don't really have specialized people in security. What he mentioned, like awareness, is something very important. They have to spend a lot of money to do this kind of awareness. In our case, what we do is simply we convert this kind of importance of having a security product, even for the small companies, by having any person in that company can establish the security defense for using a product that is easy to be accessed. Because when we speak about IT or networking especially, and then we go to security, we speak about specialized, educated, licensed, certified people that they have to conduct it. Because it doesn't matter, like if you are buying a very expensive product and then you cannot adjust the parameters properly, because parameters is very important. And these are the nodes that everybody is talking about. Setting up the parameters properly